challenge ourselves and continue to raise expectations for students and the teachers. And we've just been introducing the different aspects of the culture, the learner profile, getting people excited because we want our achievement to continue to grow. We're not going to be satisfied where we are. We want to just keep raising the bar of excellence.
Good evening and welcome to Captions. So glad that you joined us. And again, I think you will find tonight's program a very interesting program. We are going to be doing our next edition of a segment called Remarkable Times, of which we will be featuring Dr. Granitha Latham, who is the superintendent of 150, who will be sharing with you, the viewers and the community, some of the real positive things that are going on with District 150. Call your friends, call your neighbors, watch it. You'll enjoy it.
Welcome to another edition of Remarkable Times. I'm Chris Copeland, Director of Public Relations at Peoria Public Schools. Today we're in the halls of Trewyn K-8 School, one of the new IB programs here in District 150. Last episode, we introduced you to some of the new principals ready to begin their new assignments within the district for the new school year. They were also excited to begin bringing in some of the changes that were planned for their schools. One of those changes was the addition of the IB program at 4 schools in the district, both primary and middle schools. Of course, IB has existed for some time at Richwoods High School, but that program is also going through some changes, and we're upgrading, looking forward to some changes at Richwoods. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But for now, we're going to meet the 4 new IB coordinators at these 4 schools, which of course are Trewyn K-8 School, where we're at today, Sterling Middle School, Mark Bills Middle School, and Charter Oak Primary School. Well, we're here with the 4 teachers that are implementing the IB program in their schools and taking us through that process. So we're going to learn a little bit more about what the IB program looks like in the primary and middle school years. And we're going to start with Denise Smith at Mark Bills, the IB coordinator for Mark Bills. And Denise, tell us a little bit about what IB looks like in the middle school and in the younger years as we look at putting this program into place, and then what the process is for doing that.
Okay, IB stands for International Baccalaureate, and it was created in the 70s to bring peace to the world, to bring an international standard. It was created by the diplomats for their children as they were traveling through the world. They were finding out that sometimes their children were ahead, sometimes they were behind. So they wanted something that would bring them all together, have the same standard. And it was started out just as a private enterprise, and different countries decided that they wanted in on it. They saw the value of having an international standard rather than be their own little communities, and that's what you're going to see once IB kicks in the middle and primaries. You're going to see that it's a holistic, it's international. It's going to take our children from their classrooms into their communities, from their communities into their state, and into the world. It's going to bring a reason for their learning. It's not just, well, I just have to know what 2 plus 2. Well, why do we have to know what 2 plus 2? It's because everyone knows that it's 2 plus 2, and then we're going to share our experiences in our journey, and that's the value, and that's what you're going to see, is that international, that reaching out to other communities. Right now, what we're trying to do is get the vocabulary of the IB. We're trying to get the culture into our schools, and so we're working with the teachers first and bringing that in. And for our schools, it's not a real big change because we have excellent teachers, we have great programs. It's kind of like taking a Cadillac and putting the wax on it. It's just going to make it shine. It's going to bring attention to it. It's going to have other people look and say, I want a part of that. I want to learn like that.
Stacy, Here at Trewyn, what does it look like for the students? I mean, she had mentioned it's really not changing the way we teach, but putting the wax on the car, as Denise talked about.
Right. The IB program is really not for a certain type of child. It is for any child in any school, high, low, high income and low income. It focuses more on the bigger question, unit plans that teachers will write collaboratively, maybe with science and gym and math. They might write a plan together with some big question, and then they do activities in units, more student-led things than teacher-directed. You know, each student might go in a different way to find out the answers in the research to that big question.
And how do parents notice the difference in the way their child's instructed?
I think by the end of the unit, the students, will create some sort of display or project book or something that they're going to come home with instead of these worksheets all the time with, you know, those math problems or whatever. They're going to have some big concept, and I think the parents are really going to be impressed with that.
And so can you give an example of what an example of
Like a big question?
Sure.
Like eating healthy is great for the body. I saw that as one of the examples online. And then it was a plan with the science teacher and the PE teacher and how the food is broken down in the body and how exercise, and they kind of different ways on how they get to that final result.
And so the students are actually working towards finding the answer to that question.
Right, instead of just here is your information, memorize it, and here's a test.
Sure. And Michelle, a big piece to the program is a community service component. How do those projects translate into what they do in the community, and what's the basis behind that?
We're exposing them to helping out our neighborhood and to helping our community. And so we're all doing different projects within our schools. We're doing neighborhood activities. We have applied for grants to do cleaning up in the neighborhood, raking leaves, shoveling snow, picking up garbage, any of those types of things. We're also working with agencies in the area to see what needs they have and how we could, best serve them and how they can help us. Some of our schools we are collecting, they already have ongoing community service, and we're just building upon what we already have in our schools. Right now we're collecting money for Commonplace because their pantry is run low, so we're doing that. We're doing canned food drives, and we're just building on what we're already doing, but making it more so that the neighborhood knows what we're doing in the schools and the community, parents, and that the students are more aware, because the students need to see where it's going. And then at our school, we also got a grant for community garden, so we're doing a big community garden project where we're going to have lots of agencies coming in and exposing these children to helping out in the community and feeding the community.
And the projects you're talking about, I think there's a perception in the community that International Baccalaureate's for the smart students, for the students that excel in different subjects. And what you've been talking about are things that every student can participate in.
It's hands-on, it's getting, with the community project, it's developing the empathy. Not only do they know there's a need, they develop a feeling for that need. And when we know that we've reached where we want to be is when the student comes and says, I see this need and this is what I think we need to do. It gives them ownership, and then I think that's the missing piece in what we've had in the past as far as community. It's just something you have to do to get your points. This is something they know they have to do.
Right, and not only ownership of their community, but also of their learning environment as well.
Exactly.
And taking pride in their neighborhood. And it's not always, giving money. It can be doing a service, and they need to understand there are service projects that we can do to help out everybody.
What are some of the other examples that you are looking at your individual schools as far as community service?
Ours is also community service based. At the beginning of the year and in the summer, this past summer, some of our program people visited the homes, and what did you see as a need in the neighborhood? So shoveling snow, raking leaves, when it gets to be that time for some of the elderly is one of the big things that's going to be done at Trewyn.
And the charter oak?
At the primary level, really getting the students involved and even doing small things that a student can do too, especially, a kindergartner or a third grader. So we just recently had a blood drive, and even though they can't give blood, just learning about what that process was and what blood does, and then inviting their parents to come and donate on their behalf, just as a way to get involved and be part of the community.
And what's the reception from the teachers been? Charter Oak, you're a school that excels very well, and so it's kind of building on a great foundation already. What What's been their reaction?
Actually, we just recently voted on our theme at Charter Oak for how we're going to kind of roll out IB at school, and we voted on soaring higher with IB. So we kind of picked up on that. You know, we are working really hard, and we have had a lot of success. We're a blue ribbon school, and we want to take that to the next level. We really want to soar higher. We want to challenge ourselves and, you know, continue to raise expectations for students and the teachers. And we've just been introducing the different aspects of the culture, the learner profile, getting people excited because we want our achievement to continue to grow. We're not going to be satisfied where we are. We want to just keep raising the bar of excellence at our school.
Sure, and as we implement this process in these schools, you mentioned it's a 2-year process where we submitted the application. I believe all 4 schools have done that now. And now is it just a wait and see game, or are we...
We have to lay some groundwork. We have to work through a budget, work through our timeline, make sure that we have all the training in place, and then we're not even a candidate yet. We submit the A program to them that has all of the groundwork, and then we become a candidate if we're accepted. And it's going to be at least a 3-year process, and it's not unusual for it to go 4 or 5 years, but right now we're targeting a 3-year project to become authorized IB schools.
But that doesn't stop you from setting the goals and
Oh,
things that come?
no, right now we're working very hard trying to get the training in, set all the objectives that we need, set our goals, get the framework, because IB is not a curriculum. It's not something that we take out of a box and here we go. This is something that is very personal, very specific to our needs and our students' needs and where our school wants to go. It's just kind of, they want to call it like an umbrella, or they'll call it a foundation to your home. You know, they lay the foundation, and then we're building upon that with the mind of the excellence that is recognized internationally. So we are doing a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done even before we become candidates.
Sure, and as you're going through that process, students here at Trewyn are already owning IB. They're excited about IB from what I hear. How's the information being relayed to them about what the program is?
Well, I have some teachers went to training this summer in New Jersey, and I have 2 of them are part of my leadership team. They're kind of my go-to people, so they're using some of that terminology in their classroom. They're kind of gearing their lessons more towards that big picture. But it's been its own learning process because we are all brand new together at Trewyn this year. It's pretty much a brand new staff and brand new program, and just getting the feel of everybody has been.
Michelle, you've been at Sterling prior to this year, and now as the IB coordinator there. What's different? What do the students notice different? How are they reacting to the big question type of learning that may just be in its infant stages now, but it's probably a little bit different for them?
The kids are very excited about the intercultural and the global mindedness. They're really having a lot of fun with that. And then also we have Spanish. And I hear the kids and I see the kids going down the hallway and speaking in Spanish, and it is really cute. And then they have posters up. So they're very excited about that component, and they're very excited about globally. We are doing extra credit work and to try to get them to look outside of the box and think about things that happen outside of Peoria, because their really mindset is just things that are happening in Peoria. We have a lot of our teachers that watch CNN student news, and then it shares current events around the world, and the kids are telling me they learned about a new country. And they're coming up and just saying this, so it's very exciting for them.
And is foreign language a requirement in the IB program?
Yes.
It's part of the communication. You need to learn your mother language better, and then you need to have a second language that you can communicate in.
So is everyone doing Spanish?
We're doing
Yes.
Spanish.
Okay. And you'll have a foreign language teacher to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about, a couple of you have mentioned the training the teachers have participated in over the summer. What kind of training was it? What did they bring back from that, and how are they already using that?